All right, baby. Welcome to the Dave Portnoy Show with Eddie and Company. Dave, we are presented by Trade Zero.
Yeah, Trade Zero. That's what I do for trading stocks, Eddie. Today, good day. It always varies my mood, but the things I own, BLDE, Blade, that's up like, I don't know, it was up a shit ton, 17%. Penn is up a little bit, starting to get back in the game. Maybe we can get Trade Zero to accept Safemoon, who knows. But yeah, Trade Zero, very good, always reliable. The most important thing, tradezero.us/Dave. You're going to get 5 months of the pro trading package for free. I feel like they upgraded that. No, they didn't. $10 slice pizza gift card, $305 of value. Initial account minimum, $2,500. Don't just Trade Zero. And if you are trading decent amount of money, this is the biggest endorsement I can give. It doesn't crash when the market starts going crazy like a lot of their competitors. So I recommend Trade Zero. I've used them now for over a year, and they haven't let me down yet. Trade Zero.
All right, loaded show today. We got Clay Travis coming on in a little bit.
Which is big because I've had kind of an embargo on him that is I just lifted.
That was one of the first things he said was when we asked him, we reached out, Clay, do you want to come on? He said, haven't been on a Barstool program in a long time, but sure, I'm down.
Yeah, I embargoed him. I wouldn't let anybody go. Michelangelo's scooting around just cleaning stuff. But yeah, I did. I embargoed him. And there was a time we were going back and forth a lot more. Chippy, and I haven't talked about him in a negative manner in a long way. And I really, I did not like him for a while, but it was never like the personal rage. It was more like a little business savvy, a little like I viewed him sort of as a competitor for a while. He sold, so I don't view that anymore, but I'm glad he's on.
I do have to compliment your shirt, by the way.
You like it?
That's a very nice shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you're watching the YouTube, that's nice. But you said it beforehand, Safemoon, that's the first topic of the day. I don't really know where to start here, but you could tell us your Safemoon pitch.
I don't know that's a pitch, Eddie. Obviously, I'm heavily involved with stocks and crypto. It's a wild community. And I am fascinated by it all. Like, just in general, finance stuff intrigues me, entertains me. There's a lot of gambling aspect to it. But since I've been doing the Davey Day Trader and Bitcoin and Doge and some I've missed out on, and there's all these new coins, they call them shit coins that seemingly have come out of nowhere. And I don't pretend to, understand a lot of it. And Safemoon is one that I heard about. People get in on Safemoon, it's going to explode. And people are always pitching me, trying to get me on their side because I have this audience. And Elon Musk, and I do not compare myself to Elon Musk. He's a monster. He's on a league of his own. But he is literally like the puppet master of coins. Like he has trashed Bitcoin and knocked it down 20%. He's added value to Bitcoin when he said Tesla would accept it. Then he became a Doge guy. He is pulling levers like the Wizard of Oz. The whole thing's fascinating. It's like, you know what? I got to get involved in this, and I'm going to pick a coin, a shit coin. I'm not going to I don't pump and dump. People think I pump and dump and a scumbag. I don't. But I'm going to buy this thing and see what happens and put my influence and almost test how much influence do I have. And Safecoin was one that I had heard about forever. I don't want to say I was in the law school library spending hours and hours researching, but I did enough to get a general understanding of it. So, and I wanted to make content. I had this idea, I should do a hat video, like a kid declaring where they go to, college, like a basketball player. I had that in my head for this video, which was just as much a part of why I wanted to do it. I didn't put in a shit ton. I put $40,000 in. It's hard to buy it. I tried to buy more. I couldn't. And I do this announcement, and people went bananas. Just bananas. It was trending worldwide. We had this dude, the Wall Street Bets chairman, a Twitter account with 1 million followers, who's not really associated with Wall Street Bets. I don't know anybody is. Freaked out. Was crying that I picked it. It was crazy. The crypto, and this is why I wanted to do it, but the crypto world is nuts.
He had a press conference, I believe. He did a Twitter Spaces. We have some sound from that if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. I know he was crying.
He was mad.
And keep in mind, can you hear me, Eddie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had never talked to this person. Nobody even knew I was going to do this. It wasn't as if he was telling me Safemoon was bad. I didn't give any The only people who knew I was going to buy Safemoon was Barstool Sports, because I didn't want to be hearing from everybody, hey, why don't you tell us you did this, if I was able to manipulate the price or it went up. If I wanted anybody, if you want to try this, who knows if it works, I'm about to do it, so buy it at your own risk. Other than that, nobody knew I was doing it. So play the clip.
The difference between a shitcoin and a scam is that a scam is literally designed to take your money from you. All right. So Dogecoin was made, like the founder of Dogecoin said, in 2 hours. All right. He did not give two shits about utility, about whatever. But Safemoon was literally designed to take your money from you. What happened today was Dave Portnoy tweeted out that Safemoon was the cryptocurrency he was backing. That I've never heard some bullshit like that before my entire life. That man's does not. You cannot back Safemoon and promote it to regular investors and say Safemoon is the future. Safemoon is whatever. Safemoon is literally designed to be a rug pull. Dogecoin it was made with no purpose, no whatever. It was made in 2 hours, but it was not designed to take money from you. Safemoon was designed to take money from you. And it's just not okay that we have one of the largest, not even cryptocurrency influence, one of the largest financial influencers, Dave Portnoy, promoting something like that, and then getting away with it by just using his influence to have these people attack and say whatever. This is a rug pull waiting to happen, and people are going to lose money, people are going to lose things, and we don't want to see that, because it's just not what you want to see, and that's toxic in the Twitter space. Bitcoin was made as something that is more like a safe investment.
I mean, he's making no sense, right?
Well, I think the big thing was, well, you did not anticipate the backlash that you got, right?
No.
So do you regret not doing a little bit of
No,
due diligence?
This guy's just crying over he wanted me to do Doge because he has Doge. Everybody who's investing these is trying to make money for themselves, period. When he says promote, like he said something, wait, play that again. The beginning of that, he says something that's just like he should be in jail for saying it.
Scam projects in all of the entire crypto space. The difference between a shitcoin and a scam is that a scam is literally designed to take your money from you. All right. So Dogecoin was made, like the founder of Dogecoin said, in 2 hours. All right. He did not give two shits about utility, about whatever. But Safemoon was literally designed to take your money from you. What happened today was Dave Portnoy tweeted out that Safemoon was the cryptocurrency he was backing. That I've never heard some bullshit like that before my entire life. That man's does not. You cannot back Safemoon and promote it to regular investors and say Safemoon is the future. Safemoon is whatever. Safemoon is.
So I never said Safemoon was the future. I literally, this is what I don't get. Like, if you watch my video, I'm like, it could be a Ponzi scheme. I don't know. This is the one I'm choosing. They're all crazy. What do you mean designed to take their money from you, the founders? And by the way, if it is a Ponzi scheme, I have no problem with getting on the bottom floor of a Ponzi scheme. My mother, they used to have, when I was a kid, my mom, like, she openly would get involved in a pyramid scheme. Like, you knew what a pyramid scheme was. You get in at the beginning, and you got to keep getting new people, and eventually the new people get fucked. That is like the definition of a pyramid scheme. That's up to a person to decide, hey, do I want to go in? It's a risky game. I haven't said anything. I'm not saying it does something magical. I couldn't have been clearer. But this illusion that you're like doing, I don't even know him. Everybody's trying to make money. Doesn't matter if you're trying to make money with Safemoon. Doesn't matter whether you're trying to make money with Doge. Shinanibu asked, you're telling me there's people doing it from some high and mighty reasons? People are trying to make money. That's it. You may lose money if you invest in any of these, including Safemoon. He's just mad I didn't pick his because he owns Doge and he would have made money by me doing it. That's it. It's so disingenuous.
There was also a guy who threatened to kill you. Did you see that?
Yeah, Ben Mallet.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
I have no idea.
Can we get him on the pod? He has like a thing. Ben Mahler. Baller?
We got the tweets if you could pull them up. Yeah,
he deleted them.
Yeah, but someone screenshotted him, of course. But he.
Well, here's the thing. I'm the most honest guy in this space. I kind of honestly believe that. Like, I call it as I see it. I say what I'm doing. And this guy's like, oh, you got paid, which I don't know if it is illegal, if like I was given a ton of these coins and acted like it was something great. But I didn't do that. I bought it with my own money. I never talked to the founders. This guy who says I think he has $100 million in his like Twitter profile. I'm like, all right. You're saying I'm a liar and that I'm getting paid to shill this coin. Total false. Let's bet $1 million. We'll have an audit come in and check it. And then he said something to the effect, I'm not Rappaport. He's going to have somebody come into my house, tie me up, and beat me to death. Seems reasonable.
Very reasonable. People were fucking pissed, man.
Listen, the only thing I can think is I'm very much like Billy Mitchell. I'm like the abortion issue. Everybody has an opinion on me one way or the other. Like everything I do turns into something, I feel like this was not meant to be something. I was Safemoon Army, and it became everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. It's on Fox today, Fox Business. It's like worldwide was trending, me and Safemoon. So now I'm more in it. Everyone's like, oh, and by the way, not everything I do is as crazy. I was looking for a coin that I didn't want a brand new one. I needed one with some degree of liquidity in case I eventually want to get out. I wanted an army because it's good. Like, I have people now who are Safemoon Army people who never heard of me yesterday, and now like, this is our guy. So it made sense. I don't know. 40 grand is not a lot of money for me. I would have done more, but people are going bananas on this.
Billy Mitchell, the haters will see you walk on water, and they'll say it's because you can't swim.
yeah, right. Exactly.
That's his line. I think it's, listen, you know what it is. You've entered the category where it's like people want to blame video games for like gun violence. You know, they want to blame, what's another good example for something like that where it's like you have influence, Dave. Like, this is if bad things happen, it's your fault. You have a big platform.
But the video, I literally couldn't have been more clear that I'm not some sort of super expert. People are like, oh, he's going to get in trouble for what? I couldn't have been more obvious. Unless you think I'm lying. And by the way, I did get approached by other coins after to be like, hey, can we pay you to promote? I would have a very hard time doing that. Or if I did, I would always say it. Like, I am paid to promote this. So, crazy. I'm glad I did it. Like, I like being in the center of, as long as they're talking about you in our business, that's good.
Yeah, you get off on seeing the Portnoy trending.
Love it. My dick gets hard.
That mama, there goes that man tweet. That's your favorite tweet.
Favorite one I can send out. Mama, there goes that man.
No, but that's really what it is. It's like when people used to get mad at WWE for like, oh, this is bad for kids to see, they're going to be doing these Stone Cold Stunners on the front lawn. It's like, well, it's entertainment. I don't know what else there is to say.
Big time. And again, people just ignore it. I had some Safemoon people who still like me, like it's not a shitcoin, but it's like, whatever, dude. I don't know what do people want me to say. I just didn't know there was that type of animosity in this world. Like, I didn't know the Doge people, they got some nerve being like, how can you pick this one? Yours is a made-up dog. It became popular because Elon Musk tweeted it. That's like it. Like, if Elon said Safemoon to the moon, that thing's at like a gazillion today.
Yeah, it's definitely not going anywhere either, so we'll see what happens.
It's up 17% today. It was, I think, down close to 15% when I made the announcement. It went up to 5%. So, I influenced it, but I don't understand how any of it works because I still really don't have more money in my wallet. So
we'll see. Like, it's so what is that? What are you up then? I'm not a fucking fractions guy.
I'm not up anything. Overall, I pretty much have like almost the same amount of money I put in.
How many coins do you have?
I have. And I don't know, people like, show your wallet. It's like, I feel like that's how someone's going to steal me. Like, I know, like, Bubbly Gang's sitting there waiting for me to slip up and just steal all my coins. So I'm very careful with that. I have 4,477,000. No, I don't even know how to say this. I have 4.5 billion coins of Safemoon.
Speaking of stealing,
if it becomes a penny, how much would that I have if it became a penny? If I have 4.5 billion coins. Okay, so the goal, and my personality, if I got this thing to a penny, I'd be so mad at myself because, like, why don't you just buy more? You'd have, like, we want to get this thing to a penny. The goal is a penny or bust.
$1, you become a billionaire.
$1, I would become, but that seems unrealistic. Although people are saying with the currency of Gambia, 45 million, I'd take that. I don't know what to believe. People are saying it's a rug pull, like the founders have all, and they're going to get out at some. It's all a rug pull. It's all a fucking rug pull. Like, I mean, by nature of the fact that Elon Musk can be like, we're not accepting Bitcoin, and it tanks it by 20%, to me, that's a little bit of a rug pull.
Who the fuck is Gambia?
It's a country that, come on, Safemoon's their currency. It's a third world country, I guess, sort of. No technology, no nothing. But somehow they can use an online magic coin.
Sounds like a Royals third baseman from the 2000s.
That's actually not to bring her up because I'm sure she'll be brought up more. That's the funniest comment I've seen about Silvana. Her name's Silvana Mojica, and somebody said sounds like a closer, and it does.
Sounds like a closer.
It is.
Well, how about this? Well, let's talk about Roback. Then I think Clay's going to come
Okay.
on. So. Okay, cool. So let's talk about Roback.
Okay, Roback. It's great. I have it right here. I should have worn it, but I have Roback. So now they are in my normal rotation of clothes. The stripe on the back. It has the dog. Use the code Eddie on Roback.com for 20% off through the end of this week. And the shit is good. And you're wearing the hat, Eddie.
Yep, the hat. The hat's sick. Their polos are so comfortable, too.
So Eddie on Roback.com for 20% off through the end of this week. That's spelled Roback.com. 20% off polos, Q-zips, hoodies, tees with code Eddie. Go check them out at Roback.com.
It's awesome. Honestly, go check out Roback. Great polos, quarter zips, hats, whatever you want. It's so This is the most comfortable hat I've ever owned. So go get some Roback. All right, let's get Clay in here.
This is like the end of the Cold War. Does he think we're ambushing him?
I think he probably thinks that.
We'll ask him, I guess.
That's fair to assume by him, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been overly friendly, that's for sure. It's crazy how it drops. Like, it just was at up 17%. I re-click, it's up 10%. Like, I just don't understand.
I'm ready to roll whenever,
You were
whenever it
good.
works for you guys.
Well, first question, do you think this is an ambush?
I did.
It's not. It's not. I feel like I forget how we brought. Oh, well, first of all, congratulations are in
Thank
order
you.
for you. So you sold to Fox, right?
That's right.
And is the price public?
Price is not public yet. Gonna be public. Well, let me circle back around to first question first. Are we officially underway here?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Big Cat texted me and he was like, hey, I shot some of the guys your cell phone number. And I was like, hey, is this like, am I going in and is there going to be like a list of 15 different like gotcha questions, like Mike Wallace 60 Minutes style? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to do it. We haven't talked since I guess it's been like the U.S. Open in person.
Yeah, well,
like
right.
years ago.
And I said that. And I forget how we came up, Eddie. What were we talking about last week? Why did we bring? Well, maybe we're talking about the whole space in general. Was that what it was about the gambling space and how hot it was? I forget exactly what it was.
You talked about how you guys talked about Barstool possibly making the acquisition of Outkick.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about even before we kind of had a falling out. This is when we were by ourselves. And,
yeah.
And I'm curious your view. So you just sold. Everything's done with your deal. So, to me, with the Penn, I know you actually own Penn stock, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So, there's a couple different things. We look at Penn's always like, hey, what are you guys interested in buying, acquiring? I feel like we're in a gold rush right now for the entire space where everything is overpriced. I think we probably played a fairly significant role in that because our price, which no one knew, I think when we sold the valuation is $450 million, and I nobody at that point was like, oh my God, they got them cheap. But then what happened with Penn stock and everything, it just boosted anybody who was in the space into a different stratosphere.
I think that's 100% right.
Yeah, so we've passed on a lot. I know you talked to Erica a little bit about it, but we're just kind of on the sidelines waiting for things to cool. So what is your thought on now? Are you going to be exclusive, I assume, to Fox Bets now?
Well, no, it's a good question. So let's circle back. Like, you and I initially met 8 years ago, I think now. Like,
it was at the Super Bowl in Arizona.
Yeah, face to face. But we had conversations on the phone for people out there who wonder. Like, you reached out to me as you were just starting. Like, Big Cat hadn't been with you very long. Right before I went to Fox the first time, we talked because, like, I'd gotten familiar with Barstool. I came on the rundown a couple of times with you guys. And I think that was like 2012 or 2013, like a long time ago, basically, in internet years, like 80 years ago, internet years wise. So that's how we initially met. So it's a good question. So we talked to everybody, like I know you guys talked to everybody. I had good conversations with Erica. I mean, look, you guys have done a fantastic job making the Barstool brand extremely relevant already in the world of sports gambling. You know, I tweeted out before the world went insane with COVID and everything else that, look, I bought stock in Penn. I thought it was a good move by them to buy you. I said that, you know, when it got announced at the Super Bowl back in the day. I thought it was super smart for a media company to be aligning with a sports gambling company. Is to me, that's where everybody should go, right? I think that's where the universe is headed. If I ran a gambling company right now, like, dude, I'd be trying to get Adam Schefter. I'd be trying to get Adrian Wojnarowski. Like, I'd want all the top media figures in the world of sports inside of my brand, if that makes sense, inside of my universe.
Yes.
So we signed with Fox. We are still in charge of negotiating exactly what partnerships we are going to have. We are not exclusive to Fox Bet. We are at Outkick talking to everybody right now. We're with FanDuel. But my understanding, and you know how it can work when there's multiple different companies involved, but as recently as today, the idea is that we're going to be leading at Outkick the choice of who our partner is in the time ahead, and that Fox is just going to basically put jet fuel behind us and make as much money with us as they can.
That is an insane setup to me, unless I don't understand. Do you still? So right now, I don't own any of Barstool. Like I have a ton of Penn stock. And obviously, they kind of go together. Did you sell all of it, or do you still have?
I sold all of it.
So if you're sitting then, Clay, to what I am, like that scenario that you just laid out, I would never do with us. I would never, because Fox Bets is very important to Fox, isn't it?
That's correct. And look, our deal, candidly, with FanDuel runs until August. So I think there are still a lot of different moving parts. Look, there are people that make way more money than you and me that are going to be involved in all of these decisions. But right now, we are, like, FanDuel is negotiating to try to sign us to a multi-year extension. Fox has the ability to make, sign off on every contract. But my understanding is they want us to figure out where makes the most sense long run. And so, look, I think that's way above my pay grade, candidly. And the reason why I made the move that I did is because I think the market space is just so hot right now.
It is.
And everybody is trying to figure out, Levitard got whatever he did, $50 million from DraftKings, not even to sell anything.
Yep.
You've got, everybody rolling into the market. And I think ultimately there are going to be 4 or 5 guys, business-wise, that are left standing in a big way. I think you guys are well-positioned to be one of those guys. I think certainly FanDuel, DraftKings, Fox is going to be. So kind of, again, this is above my pay grade, but Fox has a substantial equity stake in FanDuel as well as in Fox Bet. And I think they've got to figure out exactly how that process is going to play out. In fact, and this is public, but there's an argument right now and a sort of a mediation that's going on over exactly what Fox is going to have to pay to buy in up to 20% of FanDuel. So, there's no telling how many lawyers are involved in those cases, but I think it just speaks to how hot the business is right now, that everybody's still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But we're going to be, as a media company, Outkick is a big partner and component for Fox of their gambling future. Exactly how that's going to look, I think, is still to be determined in some ways.
Right. I can't imagine both sides. I couldn't see, and who knows? It's one of those things. Sometimes you look outside. Like, I couldn't see DraftKings being like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a big deal or renew it with Outkick," when we know potentially two of our competitors, like not only Fox but Flutter. So it's an interesting space. It's kind of like it is a lot, and we met with all of them. It's why I like us, because some of it goes pretty high above the pay grade. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you with your sale price?
I mean, I think I'm super happy, right? I mean, I think several years ago we talked, and I was like, yeah, my goal is to be worth $100 million. And I think you thought that was crazy. I think you thought that was crazy. And by the way, congrats. I think you're worth $100 million plus for sure. I'm going to be $100 million plus guy. Depending, there's still, I have no idea what's going to happen with capital gains tax rates. I've never been a super rich guy before, so I've got a lot of money coming in now. And I don't know what taxes I'm going to have to pay before all is said and done. And I'm sure you had this kind of realization too. There is a great feeling, particularly in the universe we live now, to know that if you just decided to basically throw up the deuces and walk out, like, you could peace out, and your whole family and everybody that you spend the rest of your life with, they're taken care of. And
I cannot do that, just to clarify. I may be able to do that in the future, not money, but I am very much, our deal with Penn was very much, I have 5 years that I have to go balls to the wall.
I am also going to continue to work. I'm locked in now for 5 years running Outkick, so I'm not going anywhere either. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, I've got 3 boys, like, they will never have to worry about money for the rest of their life. And I think if you're a dad or you're a mom out there, that is, now I've moved from, hey, can I take care of my kids financially? Because you know this, like, I mean, I'm 42 now. I think you're 44.
Yep.
There were years out there where you're like, hey, one reason I think we've had the success that we have is we were willing to be embarrassed and humiliated starting things when, like, I've talked about this before. I wrote my first book. I went to a book signing in Birmingham and sat there by myself for 2 hours and nobody showed up. And if you've ever sat for 2 hours at an event where no one shows up, or done an event like that, a lot of comedians have, certainly musicians have. Oftentimes, I think the reason why you succeed is you use that as fuel, one thing, but also you're willing to fail, right? And so I think most people are not willing to fail. They're not really aware of what it's like to be at the bottom. And so for me, there was times when I wasn't making that much money and I had kids and I was sitting around like, man, is this the right path? Like, I've got a law degree. I still got law loans outstanding, everything else. To be a guy who can basically eliminate all that, I've moved to how do I make sure my kids have a work ethic and a drive when they're going to have advantages, frankly, that I never had, and I bet that you never had in the grand scheme of things, like kind of taking it to a different stratosphere, which is exciting, but it also brings new challenges. I don't want to sound like Biggie, but more money, more problems indeed.
What now that you sold it, and this is probably my distaste grew over when we were having the disagreements, is that I viewed a decent amount of what you did as shticky. And when I say shticky, that you were almost like pulling string, like you knew the image that you were crafting that would best build your brand. And I didn't always feel like you believed some of the stuff you were saying, and that you were almost, in a weird way at a time, shifted to be kind of like more like me, because you were like, this is working down there. I'm in the South. I'm going to build this, all to the point of where you got it to, which is I'm going to build something and sell it. Is that a fair assessment by me, or would you say you've been authentic to like your content, basically?
I think if you went back in time, I started writing online in 2004, which is eons ago, right? I started online. I was practicing attorney. And if you went back and read what I wrote in 2004, I think the criticism you could make of me is that I haven't evolved very much as a person in 16 years, right? I mean, we were doing drinking games for SEC games of the week. It was, if anything, I think I've gotten a little bit more serious going from 25 to 41 years old. But, I think if you talk to the only people I think you can judge that from, and I think it's a fair question, would be people who've known me for like 20 years. And it's interesting, like, I don't know about you, but one of my buddies got married a couple of years ago, and it was right after the First Amendment and boobs thing happened when I went on CNN and it turned into a huge story. And all my law school classmates were there. This was a guy in Chicago. There's probably 40 people that I knew really well who had grown up with me in some way. And I was actually curious with them. I said, hey, do I seem any different on a public level now to you than I did when we were 22 years old and we would go out and have beers and sit around and watch games and talk? And they said, no, you're the exact same person. And I think if you talk to my wife, who I've been married to for 17 years, I think what she would say is, when you go on the radio, you say a lot of things that I wish you wouldn't say because I think it's too controversial, but it's the same thing you say sitting around in our house. I think I've always said exactly what I think, and that has sometimes people haven't been exposed to it or whatever else. I think you guys, and this is a credit to you, I think your brand at Barstool, I remember the time we talked and I was like, hey, the emergency press conference. I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea to use anytime there's breaking news. And I think I said back then, like, hey, that's something that I thought, hey, that's a good idea. I'll take it. So I don't know necessarily, like, I am open to good ideas. If I see them, I don't really care where they come from. And to the extent that you see a good idea and you're like, hey, I want to do that. An emergency press conference is a good example of that. I use that phrase and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I really don't I think we overlap some.
Well, we get lumped a lot.
Yeah.
I'll see like myself and your name. It's generally in the political realm that it's like something will happen and we'll just be put together. It's like, I for sure, and people even at this company, I've gone on, Fox News. I've done all that stuff. I never say anything. I feel like you'll wade more political than I will.
I'm way more political than you are.
Correct.
I think that's 100% fair.
But from the outsider view, most people who don't like you or don't like me see us almost identical in the political sphere, and we're not. And I guess if you go on certain things, but the things I say, I'll try to steer away from a lot of topics, race being one of them, that you'll dive headfirst into. It. Yeah. Now, and is any of that, because that activates a big, loud audience.
Yeah. Well, look, I think a lot of people are not going to like you and me, and they're going to paint with a broad brush for us because we're in the internet space and we say what we think. I think we say what we think oftentimes in different subjects in different ways. I'll give you an example. I think you've done a tremendous job and people will get fired up about me saying this. I think you've done a tremendous job. I donated to the Barstool Fund, but I think fighting back against COVID restrictions, I don't particularly see that as being political. I think we had to keep the economy open. I've been super fired up about that for over a year. I think we needed to play sports. And that's why sometimes when, like I see people chirping or something from Barstool, somebody chirping at me, I try to stay out of a lot of that stuff over the past several years because I've been so focused on what we've been doing. But I've also seen like, hey, we're allied on a lot of things. Sometimes the people that hate you are also going to hate me. I'm not opposed to you throwing a punch and me throwing a punch back at them, but I think there's an over like analysis there. I think we are quite a bit different. I'm more political than you are. I think you have done a really good job of getting as much humor as you possibly can. I think you do a fantastic job of that. I would say you're more on the humor sphere. I would say I'm more in the political sphere. Now, sometimes we're going to overlap, but that's why that whole thing about, you're somewhat similar. I've never seen us as being that similar. I mean, I respect what you do, but I think for people who listen to both of us, there would be a pretty clear line of demarcation. I think we would overlap in some areas, but I think there would be areas that I would go that you wouldn't, and areas that you would go that I would.
Here's a question for you. You know your price. I think I have an idea. It could have changed. If you were in my shoes, would you have bought Outkick, or you think the market's too high right now for everything?
You know, so first of all, I think you did a great job with Erica. Like, she is absolutely, I think,
awesome.
just killed it. I mean, it's limited interaction, right? I'm not pretending to be an expert, but there are a lot of people that overlap that we're friends with that are really impressed with her, and I in media spheres, and I've been impressed with her in my interaction as well. I think we could have made sense, and that's why. Look, I will talk to anybody, and I think you're the same way. When we didn't put Outkick on the market, right? So what happened was we started getting people contacting us saying, hey, we'd like to buy Outkick. We want to sign confidentiality agreements, look at your books, know what you guys are capable of and what you're doing right now. And so when that started to happen, I said, well, look, if we're going to have conversations with some people, like, I want to make sure we talk to everybody in the space, because I want to see the best possible fit. And candidly, to your point, Fox is I feel very comfortable with them because I've been working off and on with the Fox guys for 8 years. So I feel like when they say, hey, we want you to keep doing exactly what you're doing now and just expand the media sphere around you, we're going to put you on Fox News more. We're going to, overlap some, see Outkick as a bridge that can connect Fox Sports and Fox News. I believe that. And in this process, there's a lot of people who sell you things like, oh, we want you to be the exact same person you already are. Right. But a lot of times then corporate comes in and says, oh, but by the way, can you not say that? Or can you not do this video? Or we're getting heat from an advertiser over this or that. And I feel like Fox, when you look at the way they stand behind guys like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity for years and years, and before that, a lot of their other talent, they're comfortable in the heat. And I think a lot of media companies, this, they say they're comfortable in the heat, but they don't really know what it's like to stand in a fire, right? And you guys at Barstool are in fires every day. We have been in fires every day at Outkick for things that I say or things that I do. And the partner needed to be right. So to answer your question, which I'm circling back around to now, I respect the fact that Erica has stood behind you and has stood behind the Barstool brand. And so I felt like if we ended up together, that you guys would be comfortable with the heat that we might give off on sometimes, because the truth of the matter is you can't have loyalty to a brand in this day and age without occasionally finding yourself in a fire. And I think a lot of times these big companies are like, oh, we like the positive, but then there's this negative story out there.
Totally.
And I'm like, you understand those are connected. You can't have one without the other.
Totally. And we've been lucky enough for due the diligence. Chernin was good like that, and Penn is the same. I mean, so if I understand that a little bit of what you said, would you say that the Fox deal was not 100% gambling driven?
Gambling is the deal. I don't think would have happened at all without that. Look, we have been, I think, the best based on the numbers that I've seen, and you guys don't count as an affiliate, obviously, because you're your own brand. Right. I don't think anybody has delivered more signups as a company, as an affiliate, than Outkick has for FanDuel so far in the process of what we've done so far.
So can I ask you this then? The obvious question: if DraftKings seemingly will pay for anything, they just spent $50 million just to sponsor. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? If those numbers are true, were you surprised they didn't come in with an offer that would have blown Fox out? Because you haven't heard Fox buying a much.
Fox, look, the numbers we got that were the most, candidly, were, I don't even know how all this works. I'm not a business guy, right? I'm a content guy. I mean, I understand, basic business. But I know what I do well, and that's kind of manage content. And by the way, one thing that I've had more respect for what you've managed to do is there's a whole different business to be managing a lot of other people who are working for you, as opposed to just creating the content yourself, right? And I don't think a lot of people contemplate that when they think about a business like Barstool. And I think you almost have to be in it yourself to understand like all the little issues that arise on a day-to-day basis with just managing people, both tech side, ad side, and certainly content creation side. But the people that offered the most were actually some of the SPACs that are out there. Like they have raised so much money, but my concern with partnering with some of those guys was that seemed to me like I could take more money, and that's great, but then I have no idea what the future holds, right? Because it seems to me like, is that company going to be successful? Like, or do they really know what they're buying, or do they just like the sizzle that, the numbers that we're producing? But to me, to answer your question.
So did DK make an offer?
Yeah, several different SPACs did.
So you're considering them still a SPAC?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So I don't
yeah,
know
like
that.
They're in the process, like, and I there's all these confidential, but there are a bunch of different companies out there that are in the process of raising money that will eventually be going public. Many of them have a focus in the world of sports and gambling right now. And so they're kicking the tires on a ton of different companies. So yes, but I felt more comfortable with Fox. Now, I think Fox, of all of the big media companies, is doing the best job with gambling. Like if you talk about ESPN, if you talk about CBS, NBC, anybody that's putting on games, I think Fox is doing the best job. I think we're going to fit with them greatly. But if I were running DraftKings or if I were running FanDuel, I think I said this earlier, like I would be trying to buy every single media. I think Penn got it right when they bought you guys, right? And I said earlier, Schefter, the Wojs, the guys who break news, I would want those guys on my website. Like I would want you going to FanDuel.com for whatever news Schefter's going to break about Aaron Rodgers. I would want that appearing on my website. If I were running their company, I think that the value of a guy like that breaking news, and for your brand to see on the screen, FanDuel's Adam Schefter reports, Aaron Rodgers is headed to X team, which would immediately happen. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. I'd go hire and sign every one of the biggest people. I don't think a lot of those companies, candidly, really understand the media business yet, or even understand that they're in the media business yet. And I think Penn has been rewarded because they got this early on with you guys. I think it was a super smart move.
Yeah, I think the question with that is it's these unlimited budgets that, and that's been kind of what I've been saying with the Penn on the business side. We've decided at this point, unless it's something absolutely that we think is a home run, we're not going to pay what we think could be in 5 years a 10x value because, like you said, it's a gold rush right now. And
sorry to cut you off, but the other challenge, the thing I thought about the most is, are we selling too soon? And I'm sure you thought about that on some level too. Like, I'm like, hey, if I wait, we never took any venture capital money. That was kind of, like, I just didn't want to have to deal with all that.
Right.
So I owned, the vast majority of Outkick. And I was sitting here thinking, hey, am I selling too early in the game? Should I wait till next year? Should I wait till 2 years from now? And that's the thing you never know for sure. That's the thing that I worried about the most in my head was just, are we selling too soon? Is this the second inning and we should be trying to wait till the fifth inning to cash in? Could we be triple what we are now in 2 years? I think we could. It may well be. But what happens with the market? Are there going to be a lot of failures because businesses that don't have, like, we were very profitable. We were scheduled to make in 2021 close to $10 million, right, in profit, not in revenue. So a lot of these gambling companies are making no money.
They're not making, they're getting killed. Like, anybody who's playing on a big level, really with the exception of us, because the marketing budgets are so astronomically out of whack, right. They're playing a zero-sum game where they want to be one of the last standing and recoup it. But, yeah, I never thought we were selling.
Timing-wise.
What's that?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing I thought about. Am I selling too soon?
Yeah, I didn't think that. I love the price. I've said this before. And the Chernin guys are professional negotiators. Like that.
Yeah.
They named the price. Penn said yes. So I was never, oh my God, we sold too little. Now, if we weren't the first one to sell, what would we sell for? I think you're looking at like $1 billion sale based on what happened, but we set the market. So it is what it is. It's no different when a pitcher signs early and then they look, that's kind of the deal. It's an interesting spot. What did you think? Like, for instance, what you said, I said it when we were talking, I think Dan, for example, is one of the most underrated, influential, like, obviously people know him, but I don't think, unless you're kind of in the internet world of Barstool, people, a lot of times it varies. You've said it in the past, I think more when you're trying to be mean to Barstool, being like, Barstool's all part of my take. There's that's all they have. People don't realize how many different people here have pretty big followings and could survive on, so you're getting a strong network, but that's how it is. Like, if I look around the world of the internet, there was you I knew had influence, McAfee for sure. But there's not too many out there. There really isn't.
That's right.
There's very few.
That's been the biggest challenge. I think we've talked about this privately. I don't know if we talked about it publicly, but the biggest challenge is finding talent. Talent's rare, right? It doesn't matter what the industry that you are in is. Like, there's this illusion back in the day when people started blogging for the first time. I said I started writing online for the first time in 2004. And like, there's this, I thought when I was 25 years old and I started writing, hey, in 5 or 10 years, I'll find younger versions of me, and then I'll kind of step into more of a management role and less of a content role. And, you know, here I am 42 years old, 17, 18 years later, I'm working harder than I ever have before because I haven't been able to find that many younger guys or girls that I could kind of start to develop where I become more of a manager. And I bet you found that to be the case too. There are lots of people out there who want to do what we do. There are very few that can handle the fire and will get up and do it every single day. What I found on early at Outkick was somebody would write like a good story and it might go viral back in the day and people would read it and they'd want to sit on their laurels and enjoy it for like a month. And I'm like, dude, you got to write something again tomorrow, right? It may not be a home run. It's certainly probably not going to be a grand slam, but the number of people who want to get out of bed and work hard every day in our industry is pretty small. The number of people who will do it well is even smaller. There's just not a lot of difference makers, man. And I think that's probably what was one of the things that people got the most wrong about the internet. You've seen it. I mean, I look for talent every day.
Yeah, it's hard.
People who will work and do what we do. There's just not a lot of them who are that good at it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We've been good and lucky. The early guys I hired, spectacular, and we've been able to diversify. And Paul, who's in here, who I don't give a ton of credit, like our social media, like we meet so many people, and it's amazing the difference in how people know Barstool. Like, they may just think we're an aggregate Instagram account, or they may think for me, like, hey, you eat pizza, right? Or pardon my take, or call her daddy. We've been able to diversify and have enough different vehicles for it. Last thing I'll let you, I'm going to say this, and he's not going to like it, but Rico Bosco finally admitted he didn't steal the San Diego State pick. He didn't want it on the record. He finally admitted it, so that we can put behind.
That is old school. How many years does that go back now? That's an old school.
Few presidencies.
That is an old school reference.
2 presidencies, yeah. He for those who don't know, Rico gave out a San Diego State pick that then Clay gave out, and he accused him of stealing the pick. He's finally admitted that wasn't true.
It was a Christmas Day game, if I remember correctly, like literally like a couple of presidencies ago. I think Obama was president at the time of this controversy arising. But seriously, this has been fun. Congrats for everything that you guys have done, and you know. I mean, I think really you can sit back now and say, you, Simmons, and me, if you think about people who, and maybe Le Batard's going to end up doing it as well, but for people who have created something that really didn't exist and done a good job of it in sports, it's not a long list. And I mean, I think it's something to, you know, sit back and think about and be happy about whenever you decide to finally hang up the whistle, so to speak.
Last
Seems like you're
question.
having a good time of it.
Honest answer. I don't know if you ever give a totally honest answer. If we had to put our fortunes at the end of this, as such a champagne problem, winner take all, who ends up with the most money, me or you? Who you got?
What's your goal now?
I never necessarily have. I'd like to be a billionaire, but I don't know if that's going to happen. That I like sports team.
You guys ridiculed me a couple of years ago because I said I wanted to get to 100 million.
Hundreds.
Like, oh, that'll never
you
happen.
said hundreds. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get
200.
to hundreds, right? I'll get to more than 100 million. I feel confident about. But the question I have now is, I don't know that I'm going to be that risky in the money. Like, I've got a buddy who I went to law school with that wants to buy his own pro sports team. He's way richer than me. He's the most successful guy that I went to law school with.
By the way, I don't think I'm going to get $1 billion. That would be like, not to confuse that, but.
I think the number that I'll end up around is so you can tell me whether or not you think this number is crazy. I think I can get to 250 or 300, assuming that my wife doesn't kill me and, you know, like I don't get divorced and have to give away half of it. Like I feel like when I die, I'll be at 250 or 300. Where do you think you'll be?
I have no idea. I mean, so you're talking about investing, like in doing other things with the money?
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
you also
I have
to
no
factor in
idea.
how
I don't
many
look
years
at. I
you-
just look at like what this Penn thing will end up in. There's a lot of loose ends. I mean, if Penn stock goes ballistic again, then that changes. You know, who knows?
I took all cash.
Right.
So I'm not invested in any company. Like I'm gonna obviously, like, I've got Penn stock, I've got FanDuel stock through Flutter, like just individual investments that I've made. But I sold Outkick for cash. So like my idea is I'm starting to meet with financial advisors and everybody else. I'm going to be smart about the investment, but it's not like I'm suddenly going to push it all in the table and be like, I'm buying 5 million shares of this stock and I'm just going to roll with it. So I think
should
I'm
buy some
probably
Safemoon. What do you think of? Do you follow the crypto stuff?
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to really understand some of this stuff. Like, I follow the crypto stuff. Like my theory is if I can't explain the business and why I think it makes sense in like a paragraph in my head, crypto to me is just something that I understand the concept of it, but it's just a level of tech knowledge and financial literacy as it pertains to currency valuations. Like I'm never going to be a crypto guy personally. I also think I'd lose my damn passwords at some point. I can barely remember how to log into my email sometimes.
You're definitely showing your age. You sound like what
That's
I would
no
say.
doubt.
I mean, but I'm in
I
on
think
it. I'm the leader of Safemoon, so it is what it is. All right.
Should I be buying Safemoon? I don't even know what that is.
Safemoon is it's one of these little shit coins, although the Safemoon crowd gets very angry if you say that. We're the currency of Gambia, and I have 4.5 billion Safemoon coins.
So how much cash did you actually have to put in to buy that?
I put in 40,000. Not a ton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'll put it, if you are telling me that this is going to be a wild success.
I am not telling you that. I am definitely not telling you that. But it could be, but I am not telling you that. What I find with any of these, the more influencers or people who have followings who say they're buying it, if that buys it, that could be Doge is
40K is a risk that I didn't know how much you had put in.
No.
Like I will. You remember I lost $50,000 trying to sell pants back in the day. You remember that
Yes,
story?
I do.
Like I got
Yeah.
into that. Like I've had all sorts of ridiculous things that I thought were going to make sense that didn't. I'm in a spot now where I can lose $40,000 on a ridiculous
So if you
thing,
can
not
figure
to
out
worry
how to
about it.
buy it.
I will try to figure out how to buy it.
That is not the easiest part. All right. Thank you, Clay. Take
Good
care.
stuff. Congrats. Fun time.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya.
Get another guy on the Safemoon train.
Are you guys friends now? It feels like you guys are friends now.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to be animosity. Once he sells, it's like,
It's over.
a little bit. And I think he was for the most part being truthful, or maybe he just changed his content scheme and the stuff. Like you said, he is more political. I don't like when I get compared to him because I think he does play that race card in right on the edge of race baiting, which I do not do. But it was interesting. And I don't know when he says he's going to be worth hundreds of millions. Like, I guess if you're like an early investor in the next Uber, yeah, you're going to make, but who knows?
Who do you think's more hated, you or him?
What?
Who do you think's more hated, you or him?
Me.
You think so?
I just think I'm much bigger than he is.
Yeah. I mean, you're more beloved regardless, but
Yeah.
but
if you're just doing sheer numbers, probably me. But like he said, what I almost have that clip, like we're not the same. Like that does bother me when we're put the same. I'm curious to see what his sale price actually is. I thought my guess was going to be about 50 or 60 million.
yeah, I was because he activates that button like you said, and that's why I would say there's a chance it could be him. But you're right, just by sheer numbers, you have a lot more.
He talked a little bit around the fact, which he always does. It's like, if your numbers are so great, why didn't DraftKings make a huge offer? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well,
Like,
that was a good conversation.
He got bought by a non-gambling company at heart, in a way. Like FanDuel and DraftKings will spend, but none of us stepped up. Kind of the same that happened with Action Network.
Now, did you have the opportunity to take all cash like he did?
No. Thank God I didn't.
Because it's been so beneficial for you so far?
Well, it's the stock price is 26 and it's at 82 or whatever. So, I mean, when it was at 4, I'm like, damn, I wish I took all cash. But that was never an option because they wanted me incented.
Yeah. That's so interesting that he's not that. Like, why would he Why would they do that though?
Honestly, what stock do they have?
That's good. It's a good point. I guess I don't know.
And it that arrangement makes no sense. And he didn't say it outright. He's like, the powers that be. Fox bought Outkick. Fox owns Fox Bet. Why would Fox Bet let Outkick go do a deal with DraftKings? It just makes no sense.
I don't know. You know what does make sense though? Roman is now in Walmart, Dave.
Ooh, that's big.
That's big. That's
Here
big
they go.
time.
Roman right here. Swipe on your dick. Get hard. Fuck like a champ.
They got Roman condoms now too, Dave. They could only be found at Walmart exclusively.
Oh, wow. So the condoms do the same thing, Eddie?
No, I mean you should still use the swipes to last longer in bed.
I
It's
wasn't sure
clinically
if it had
proven
the
way.
swipe. It doesn't. That's probably coming next. Roman
Yeah.
swipes, easy, discreet way to delay ejaculation and increase sexual stamina. Fast acting. Partner will enjoy them too.
They got Roman Daily. They got a multivitamin. Everything's great there. They got a lot of stuff going. Congrats to Roman, big sponsor of Barstool across the board.
That's
Dave,
huge
so.
that they're in Walmart.
Yeah,
you
that's
can just
awesome.
pick 'em
So go
up.
check that out.
Buy supplies, stick them in your closet. Have them ready to go.
All right, so thanks to Clay for coming on. We'll keep it moving. Did you hear about this guy who was impersonating you?
Yes, I've been meaning to blog it. It is
Holy shit!
crazy. No, I haven't mentioned this, so I guess after this comes out. So essentially, somebody sent an email, and they're like, just to give you a heads up, somebody's done a deep fake with you, trying to get money out of them. It sounded like they wanted to. They were starting maybe crypto or something where I was going to become the face or the spokesman for a company, and they have a video of me. And they're on a conference call, but it sounds like a Chinese voice, but it is scarily realistic. It looks like you're on a conference call with a bad reception, like kind of bad Wi-Fi, except it's just not my voice. We have the video, don't we? Yeah, we have the video. You've seen it, right, Eddie?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's very clear that it's not your voice, which these people were smart. They found out right away, but the way that they synced your mouth to the sound, it's pretty scary.
It's insane. So is this who sent us the video to be like, this guy right here?
That's basically it. I just need to be sure that the project can fly. Order requirements. David has spoken to me here, but I've looked at his background, and he has a little experience in, dealing in the market. So what I'm really interested in is the fact that since the project is still new, I need to be sure that if you're going to do a project like this, it's not something you're going to abandon.
Oh, okay.
People start project, and at the end of the day, they abandon it. Hold on, let me done. So people start project, at the end of the day, they abandon it. Probably
Eddie,
when things get tough, they.
This is crazy. By the way, for how smart, can we shut this? For how smart or technically savvy whoever did this is to do this, how do you not get a guy that sounds sort of like me? Why won't you use... You could convince that's me with the bad connection if you have a voice you could probably trick my dad into being the voiceover.
Yeah, I mean, just text Elio. He'll do it.
Like, seriously, my dad's voice is similar. Just get him talking. He's at that age. He just likes to talk to people. Like, he just calls in, hey, can I talk to you guys? Imagine, my dad may fall for that. But really, why wouldn't you get a better voice?
Do you remember where the video's from?
No, I mean, I've done a gazillion. I mean, it could be a DDTG stream.
Could have been a Barstool Fun video.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Something. It's not the Gary V video, is it? I don't know. Who knows what it could be?
That's nuts.
That is crazy.
Because they synced it. Like, however they did it, it was like he was. It was real. It looked like I was answering the questions. And even when he's like, hold on, it'll be like a hold on with everything made sense except the voice.
At 10 minutes in, the guy was like, can everyone raise their hand here? We're having issue with the video. And obviously, you didn't. And that's when they for sure knew that
Right.
it wasn't. But that's a good way to tell is hey, can you lift up a finger or do something? And then they called him out on his voice, and then he just left. He just got
Oh, they
caught.
did call him out on the voice?
Yeah, in the full video, like 15 minutes in, like he's like, "Hey, your voice sounds a little weird. Like, what's going on with that?" And then it just cuts. Like he just leaves. That's how it ends.
I mean, do you think people fell for this?
I mean, you'd have to be, if you're buying into you and you want you to lead a product, I would assume that they're pretty familiar with you. You know within 5 seconds that ain't you.
Crazy.
The other guy, the guy who didn't call him out, I think he was like sort of falling for it because they were talking in Zoom, and you can see him say something like, "How would he know, or how would he have seen my email if this wasn't real?" And the other guy's like, "It sounds nothing like him. It's for sure fake." So maybe the other guy was kind of getting fooled. If that other dude didn't tell him like, "Hey, this is for sure fake," then who would have? Maybe would have taken his money.
You know how fucked up my ego is? I'm like flattered by this.
You're being used for fucking scams by some dude in some random country.
Crazy. The world's crazy.
Speaking of tech, after our episode last week, Silvana had her IG deleted. I was worried that she was mad and she deleted it because she didn't like the pod.
No, that's totally inaccurate. I don't know what's happening. We don't know what's happening with that. We don't know why it keeps getting deleted, but we got it back, thank God. And hopefully it doesn't get deleted again.
So was that like a big crisis there? Was the fire alarm pulled at the at Dave Portnoy HQ because of this?
Yeah, it was a major crisis.
Especially at a time where, like, a lot of people were definitely hopping it over that day, and she missed out on a big wave.
She didn't care about that, but I mean, girls, me, I would be freaking if my Instagram was down because I use it a lot for business and whatnot. And the frustrating thing is, it's very hard to get answers on what's going on. And it happened again. It's like, why she's not doing anything wrong, so we didn't know what was happening. But it had nothing to do with me. The timing was bananas.
Was she unhappy with last week's podcast?
No. I'm getting much better,
Much better as in, like, knowing what to say, knowing how to be
No,
like a
well,
good,
it's our
good BF.
our relationship has advanced. And I know, so it's like way more straightforward,
What about you wearing matching I Miss Her hoodies?
Yeah, Gaz. Who told you this, Paul?
Well, I just
Because this wasn't posted anywhere.
It's on. When we brought it up on BFFs, it's on the clothing company's Instagram.
Yeah, but why would you know about the clothing company's Instagram?
They sent it over. Like, people are like, see it because they have followers. So
How
they're
many followers does
bring
this
up the
clothing
account.
company have?
Probably gonna be a lot more after this.
3?
It's
a lot of
huge
people are
Florida
calling you a
State
simp.
Yeah. Let's see. All right.
804.
800 followers.
thing. I don't follow it.
There's one comment.
One
It's some guy
comment.
with fire emojis.
Yeah, right. You guys happen to be on this. It's not. Get out of here.
A lot of people are saying the S word, the simp word, Dave. Is everything
What does that
okay?
mean, Eddie? What's the definition of that?
Like I don't know. Like you, I don't even know, to be honest. You know what it means, though.
Her friend is involved or owns that company. I saw he's like, would Dave wear one? And I was like, if they send it, I guess, yeah.
The word simp means, according to Urban Dictionary, it means a guy that is overly desperate for a woman, especially if she is a bad person or has expressed. I lost it. That's basically it. You're just a simp. For her.
If she's a bad person.
Yeah, there's
well,
a bunch
no.
a word that overuses without a correct definition. It means that a guy is overly desperate for a woman, especially if she is a bad person or expressed her disinterest in him, which she continues to obsess over. So if you upset, that's not a good.
Yeah, so I'm
You're
not a simp.
Some people
Because she
say it
likes
stands
you.
for "she is my passion." Like if you were to like say like, "she is my passion." Simp.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I got you.
But no, she likes me.
It's like the internet people that's simp for a girl that they don't even know, and they're like leave me alone, but you're still like all.
Yeah,
out.
no.
Yeah.
Listen, there's nobody in the world who has a girlfriend who's like, hey, do you mind throwing this sweatshirt on and take a picture? But yeah, of course. It's called
You
being in
guys
a
are-
relationship. Whoa.
Was there like a private concert attended this weekend, or what happened there?
What?
No,
No.
it wasn't. No.
A private concert?
Yeah, I heard there was like a little yachty maybe.
Oh, no, that wasn't a private concert. There's some house party we went to, and he was just happened to be there.
Oh, okay.
That was not a private concert. You
Good
think I
time?
have the pull to get Little Yachty at a private concert?
Did he remember you from BFF?
I didn't even say hello to him. He literally showed up. We kept hearing Lil Yachty's going to perform. He took a microphone for maybe 3 seconds.
Was that the guy who was opening boxes on BFFs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he definitely wouldn't have remembered me.
Good weekend all around, though?
Yeah. Fun
Nice.
weekend. Good weekend.
Uber Debbie seems to be mad at you.
Yeah, because we brought up Uber Debbie, and just by bringing her up, I'm sure this is going to... I love Uber Debbie. And I didn't even address it. I'm addressing it now because, like, I love Uber Debbie. She's essentially got mad because I don't even know how to say this exactly. So we brought her up on the show, last week? You're like, are you going to do any more pizza reviews with Uber Debbie?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We talked where people were wondering about, if she's going full time, she's making merch. They just basically inquired what's been up with Uber Debbie.
And I didn't say much either way. And I still would rather not talk because I like her, and I'm not trying. I mean, she kind of trashed me a little bit, right?
I think for her big thing was she was coming from a place of hurt. It seemed like she was genuinely bothered that you don't respond to her, but I don't think she knows that that's just kind of how you are. You've said on this show before that you're not a normal texter. You don't believe in like the norms of like having to respond. I don't know. So
and just if you looked at my phone or like when they're normal things, I have consistently been responding to Uber Debbie, how you doing, and staying in touch, and I like her, and I feel like we've been good for each other. Uber Debbie got a manager, and the manager kind of changed the tone of the conversations that we were having, where it went from like what felt like friendship and things like that to what can you do for her? Like, we want you to put this in your store. We want you to promote this. And it was incessant to the point Frankie's like, what do you want me to do? Her manager like won't stop like asking for things. I'm like, and then if we're being totally frank, I started thinking I was talking to the manager, not her. And I told her that. And one, it was like, I'm not, like, it was this long text and it didn't sound like her. It's like, hey, golden cookie, tan cookie. It's like, what? It's like, Uber Debbie's never talked to me like that. It just felt so off. Frankie said the same thing. And I wrote back, I know I'm not talking to Uber Debbie. It was very strange, and that kind of cooled it a little bit to the point from my perspective, like Uber Debbie's not like asking how I'm doing. She wants something. It's all she went from never wanting or asking for anything to a 180 of every time. It was like, what can you do for me? This, that. It just didn't feel like her. It didn't sound like her. And both Frankie and I felt the same thing. We felt we were talking to the manager, and we just kind of backed off. But that was it. So it, for her then to go do that rant on me, it sucked. But I still feel like there's a little bit of weird stuff going on. I don't know how else to say it. But I love Uber
out?
Debbie. I'm just not still comfortable I'd be talking to actually Uber Debbie, even though I was. Like, even in that video, can you tell in the back, like somebody's kind of feeding her lines?
So you think there's more that's going on?
Unfortunately kind of do, and I don't even like saying it. I haven't said it, and I love Uber Debbie. She's like the most genuine, true person. And by the way, like this person is helping monetize because Uber Debbie like doesn't know how to make graphics and all. So good for her, but like we've done a lot, and it just got to be a lot. And we just kind of retracted a little bit. It's like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, hopefully it could be mended. Hopefully,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know you really like her. I mean, what you've already done. You don't do that for everyone, so you definitely had to like her.
No, and it's like if I go through, it's my whatever. It sucks to even talk about.
Indiana is live. The Barstool Sportsbook app.
Yes, today's the first day. When does this come out? Tomorrow. So it will be the second day. I can say what we're doing. We have that big party for the Indianapolis 500 with Diplo, Machine Gun Kelly. Saturday, the NBA playoff games will be in our exclusive section of the app in Indiana. How you get into this party, it's an open bar, but what you do have to do, and it's first come, first serve, first people on Saturday to get a ticket, you place a $250 bet on any of these NBA games. That is your ticket into the party. If you want a table, it's a $10,000 bet on one of these NBA games, and that will include 10 seats at the party, bottle service, the works. Everybody in the party, again, open bar. It's going to be a huge event.
Girls go for free.
Girls are getting in for free. There'll be like 5,000 people.
It's basically doing the Super Bowl party, but fucking in Indiana.
Yeah, it's going to be a Super Bowl party-like event in Indianapolis, and there are no other events going on like this. We had to go like half an hour, 40 minutes away because they're looser on COVID rules.
That sounds like it's going to be sick. Have you offered? Have you reached out? Did you tell Larry Bird that he's welcome if he wants to attend?
Larry Bird knows he has an open invite to anything I do the rest of my life.
You got to have a seat for him there.
Yep.
You got to. No, that's going to be great. Bet the BEC.
The BEC, the first time it lost for me was yesterday. I was 2-1 with it.
We've been. It was a good week last week. How about some guy came at the Sportsbook? I think he was a big gambler in Michigan.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to that, but they're sharps. Think of it as like a card counter. Mm-hmm. That we did a bad job of from seeing like the Penn response. We we don't recreational gamblers. You can't have card counters. That's universal. The equivalent of a card counter.
Well, yeah. Who is it that way? I think Dana White and Affleck are like banned from playing blackjack at a bunch of casinos. Like that's kind of what
I know
happened.
Affleck was. I mean, we do these promos that are meant to give players great odds, but then there's a group of people who use those odds, can bet them both ways, multiple accounts, things of that nature that guarantee you win. Not illegal, theoretically. Illegal with terms and conditions of what we say, but that's how you go bankrupt, allowing that type of behavior.
How much does it suck for you being on the other end where you know you don't want people to get fucked and you want to be for the player, but it's kind of, you're kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah, it sucks a little bit. That I don't feel bad about at all. And anybody who knows how this works, there is no other sports book that has as huge a player advocates as Penn does. Like Dan and I bet as players. We don't get any special treatment, and we fight tooth and nail for every advantage that our player can get. But we don't do what they're doing, which is multiple bots and this and that, and guaranteeing we're trying to pick games like normal humans.
Yeah, I mean it's hard too because it's one of those things where you can't be the customer service rep for all these people that who have problems, so it sucks. So there's really no way to fix this. It's so big.
And again guarantee nobody has player advocates like we do because Dan and I play and advocate for. You've seen it. Yep. Like I'll be if I think something is unfair or unright, I'm like yelling at them. I'm like, you can't fucking do this.
Yep, 1,000. I mean, it happened last week in the office. Playoffs are in the thick of things. Any analysis about the Bruins right now? I think
they did what they had to do last night. Marchand. I said it. I said, what was the keys? The overtime. I said, come out of the locker room with jump, and that's exactly what they did. It was like a minute in. They cycled the hell out of the puck, and it's 1-1 coming back to Boston.
Okay, so Game 3. What's your key to the game for Game 3?
Well, playoff hockey. You got to pick up your feet. You got to skate. You got to cycle the puck. Get it in, get the puck in deep, and get pucks on net.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I couldn't say it any better. You have a crusade against ankle socks.
It's not so much a crusade. Ankle socks, they're more no-show socks. Ankle socks, which go up on the ankle, work. No-show, they don't work. They always fall down to the feet. The big sock has been getting away with it forever.
That's like the socks you wear with the Sperry's people do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Sperry's are kind of like losers, I feel like, wear those now, but yes.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I think of. Like that's like
no show. Like any sneaker, low-cut sneaker. You don't want that sock showing.
Yeah. Dave, let's talk about Slick for a second. I know the last time we talked about them, you said you needed them in
I had them in my house in my apartment in New York. I didn't realize. I forgot. So I actually had them this weekend, and we got in like a spirited, no pun intended, debate with Silvana. Her sister was here as well because it's 8% alcohol. So the debate we were having is this is the blind leading the blind. They were trying to say this was the equivalent of drinking 2 beers. And I was like, that can't be right because they're a beer is 4% alcohol. So like this is 8%. So it's 2 beers. I don't think that's right. I think it's half a beer because it matters how much fluid is in there, right?
No, I think that's 2 beers.
No, it's percent by.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. No, Dave's right.
Yeah, this turned into like a major debate.
Doesn't
I agree with her.
volume mean
It has like if you put this in that's like okay, this is exactly my point.
Gotcha. Okay.
A beer if it's 8%, if you have half a beer, you're not as drunk or as much alcohol if you had a full beer, but they're both 8%. I mean 4%.
I could tell you that most people see it her way, though.
Well, that's just wrong.
I guess so. I mean, I always kind of saw it that way.
Well,
but it
that's
makes sense what
idiotic.
you're saying. Well, could you tell us what Slick is?
Yeah, they're frozen. They're freeze pups with alcohol in it. They have tequila. They have vodka. I didn't get the vodka. I want the vodka ones. I had the tequila ones. They're very good. They're very good.
They're very solid. I mean, summer's like next weekend's Memorial Day weekend. So if you're not getting these, I don't know what you're doing. So swap out, get these. They're at Walmart. To learn more, go to SlickSpiritEdice.com. SlickSpiritEdice.com.
This ad has been brought to you by 21 Holdings LLC in West Chicago, Illinois. Must be 21 and up to purchase and consume. Please drink responsibly.
Nice.
Have to do that.
Nice. All right, inside Barstool, then we'll get out of here. Riggs organizes an NCAA women's tournament.
Great job by him. I love this. I was debating going. I read an article. I spit out my coffee when I wasn't even drinking it. Riggs, in the article, he's like, why did you do it? Well, I played college hockey, so I know what it means to be like a college athlete. I don't know that being a healthy scratch and being in civilian clothes for 100% of your college games qualifies as being a college athlete.
Come on.
I don't know, Eddie.
You got to go to the practices. You're in the team. Like, you got to.
But it is, I'm very proud. Great job by him. Great event by him. And I hope it's A+. I know it will be because our squad that puts together the Barstool Classic, everyone raves about it. So really, I can't believe you got the NCAA to comply. And by the way, I never got the answer. Vintage Barstool. We're working on getting this thing done, and I think we got it done, and the NCAA said the green light. And then Foreplay tweets, hey, reminder, NCAA is the worst. I text him like, what? I'm like, did this get canceled? He's like, why? I'm like, Foreplay just chirped the NCAA. He's like, holy shit, he never got back to me. Who did that?
Riggs never got back to you?
No, I'm like, who the fuck tweeted? He's like, idiots. Like, we just got them to, like, do something that I didn't even think we could do, and then we fucking chirped them. We deleted it. But it's like stuff like that crazy. So great job. And honestly, one of the best things we've done in a while. Another example where people say love them or hate them, say what you want about Barstool. The endless list. At what point, if you keep saying, say whatever you want about Barstool, but this, if that just keeps happening, maybe that is us.
Oh, and at some point, someone's going to have a complaint about this, too.
What?
Like, someone's going to be like, I can't believe they're playing. There's going to be
Yeah, 100%.
That's just the way it works. So, good on Riggs. I mean, speaking of which, you saw that Seance video with KB, Nick, and Donnie. with they had to bring him back to life for the Florida series.
Yeah.
That shit was funny.
Well, those are all crazy, funny people.
It was so fun. If you didn't watch that, go check that out. Steve Robinson resigned.
Yeah. The most shocking thing that I always thought he was kind of a total dork, and I watched some old video of him being like as the quarterback of like Trinity or wherever. That was stunning to me. So I mean, you got to be a pretty good athlete. I don't care if it's D3. That's pretty good. I don't pretend to be in Kirk's world a lot, so I don't know what he's doing. I just heard he was miserable.
He does a great job.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to replace that. That's a hard thing to replace.
Yeah, so you don't know anything more besides what
No, I don't know why that happened.
I mean, he pretty much came out and just said he was burnt out. He was kind of just over it. He needed to take a break, and that was kind of where he left it. He's going to move, I think. He talked about it on the podcast. There was a whole episode on it.
So is he going to like stay in this? Like he's just
No, him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever he has is moving, and that's it. I don't know if he's going to be involved. He said he's doing they're going to do another one of those shows up in Maine. I think that's his last show, and then he's looking. Kirk's looking for a producer.
I know he's looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to replace. It really is, especially if you're comfortable with somebody. It takes a long time. Like when Frankie left, we have people filling in, but it changes your what you're accustomed to. It sucks.
And didn't he fought for Steve too, right? Wasn't it like a big hey, here's my guy here, I need him?
Yeah, I didn't know much about him, and early there's a lot of tension with Kirk during a spin. This is way in the past where we were feeling each other out. But that was a long time ago. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest Steve Robinson fan. I thought he was kind of a troll, trolling us, working for us while trolling us. But we've been pretty, copacetic, and everybody's been on the same page. And I wish he wasn't leaving.
And I think the case wrapped up this week. Is that right, Gaz?
I'm not sure if the last episode came up, but they tweeted that you guys got something about court. Did you see this?
Who did?
The case tweeted it out while we were recording just now.
Yeah, one of the women who's, I'm like 6 episodes in. She's nuts.
She's one of the characters that are in Brockton.
Interesting.
She's from what I hear in the podcast, she had someone. She went to jail, I think, and she had someone in her basement locked up, and she's a wild person.
Go after Kirk. Don't go after me.
Yeah.
I don't know what we said. That's all alleged, by the way.
Kirk. If someone tell that lady, I don't know who she is, but your problem's with Kirk, not me.
Yeah, I don't know the full story.
I see my name there.
What's it say?
David Portnoy. Why is my name on that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're added. Read the tweet so you'll know exactly what the situation is.
I did. Diana and Natali requested an injunction against Kirkman and Stool Presidente. But why am I listed on that?
About her serving jail time for virtually enslaving a developmentally disabled girl. There's a whole episode on it. Fascinating.
But why am I listed on that? I don't own Barstool.
You have nothing? I don't think I knew that. You have 0% right now?
Yeah, 0.
Really?
Yeah, I own Penn stock.
All right. Well, good luck to Steve.
Somebody tell that lady I have nothing to do with it. If you're going to enslave somebody again in your basement, if you did that, I'm not saying you did, it's fucking Minahan. Minahan would be one of those guys, she'd probably let him go, but this isn't worth the hassle.
Oh, man. There was kind of a cryptic Instagram story from Caller Daddy that said they're filming the season finale.
Yeah, the season finale, right.
So is that anything to do with Alex's contract? Is she done, or what's the latest?
I think it's still up in the air on what's happening, but there's no animosity either way.
Do you believe she will be back?
No, I don't.
Wow.
Now I don't. We may still work with them in some fashion, but I don't. I think the price got too expensive for us.
Is there a deadline? When will we know for sure?
Eric is doing most of that.
Okay. Wow, that's that would certainly be big news.
Yeah. Not huge.
And then my last thing here.
Why do you have that smirk?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, it's a big story from the weekend. Is Dana Beers back?
Listen. With his beer tweets, and I actually saw him today. I just walked by. I'm like, stand up. I just wanted to see how fat he was because everyone was saying he was so fat. I thought he kind of looked the same. What does he mean by back? I know he always says that. I feel like he says that all the time.
Do you see he's sleeping on his balcony?
I know he's doing the balcony thing, and I know everyone's like, do the beer tweet, Miller Lite. I mean, I guess he's back. He's not Mississippi anymore.
Are you pro balcony bed or no?
I don't hate it.
Did you see the video? Did you see the picture of all the boys in the bed?
I did see that.
Great picture.
Yep.
And then even better, I'm sure you saw the Stu video.
I did. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I didn't pay. What do you mean? Is he back? I don't even really know what it means. Was he ever here?
He was here. You're right. At this point, I'm not sure what back means, but
I
that
feel
was
like
really
he kind of
fucking
does
funny.
this every weekend, so I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, sometimes girl-related. Like some
Yeah,
Mississippi
like
mom.
I made eye contact with a girl in the hallway. I'm so back. Whatever happened to his Buffalo Bills girl?
They broke up.
Damn, true love doesn't exist.
He didn't get an I miss her hoodie, I guess.
Guess not.
Got to do it. All right, you want to do emails or are you done?
It's up to you.
Let's save them. We'll be back next week. Long episode. All right, Dave. Anything else? Anything indie related? Anything? One final plug here.
Sign up, Barstool Sportsbook, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'll be out there next week, and no, that's about it.
Awesome. That's it, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then.
All right.